Number 195-2018, consider a conditional offer of employment to Troy Lucas for the zoning director's position at an annual salary of $60,000. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, second?
Second.
Second, Frank Aguizio. Discussion? Very well. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 0. 5-0. Welcome to you, Troy. Next item, number 196-2018, consider the purchase of one 2019 Ford F350 4x4 pickup from Wilson Wind Ford at a cost of $30,990. This is a Coast-Guard's purchase. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Ron Flair.
Second.
Second, Frank. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Don't worry.
Aye. Allow the record to show 5-0, Carol. Thank you.
You only really need to. That's all.
Next item, consider number 197-2018, consider adoption of a standard for benches in the park. Dawn, are you going to present it? No? Or pull up a picture, that'd be fine.
Isn't this the cart in front of the horse? Don't we have to get an ordinance prepared for a policy before we go deciding what kind of benches we're going to put in, or if we're going to put benches in, and where we're going to put benches?
You want this? Let's do it as we have the other. Do we have a motion on this item, and then we can open up for discussion? I heard you loud and clear, Ron.
Pardon me?
I heard you loud and clear, but let's do it proper. Do we have a motion? Motion made by Tom, a second. I'll second it. And let's have open discussion.
We tabled it last month because we needed to write a policy. To Ron, Supervisor Fleer's point, why in the world would we pick out a standard bench before we ever finish the policy that says that we're allowing benches? What if we decide to write a policy that says we're putting brick pavers in? Or what if we write a policy that says we're allowing birdhouses in? Why even go through this step when we haven't finished the policy?
This is considered a policy, is it? Am I correct? That's what this is drafted as. And that's why it's on the agenda.
This is a picture of a bench.
To be established as a policy.
I think we need a lot of discussion on this one, where I went the other day, took me a couple hours, I went around all the parks. Southview has 2 benches that are all rotten, falling apart. Cecil has 15 benches. Hendersonville has 3. Hills has 0.
Right.
So you're going to have to figure where you're going to put these benches. I mean, first of all, we have no policy. I mean, everybody's going to want their bench up front. It should at least be to our discretion where we're going to put them.
A policy is a written statement. It spells out exactly the rules of what is allowed, who is allowed, are there limitations on numbers. This is a picture of a bench, not a policy.
But we're not talking about memorials here. We're talking about placing benches in a park for residents and taxpayers to sit down.
At our expense or at somebody else's expense?
No, it should be at our expense. If we don't want memorials in the park and anybody paying for it, it's going to be put in by the taxpayers and the Parks and Recreation Board.
Which I'm fine with, but is that what this is? Like, is this a standard for someone else to pick a bench, or are these benches that we're considering?
I think it's in similarity to what's down around the playground. They should be of a vinyl coating or a composite that's something that would last, not wouldn't rot. Is that what you're heading towards, Dawn? Well, let's see it. Let's see the presentation of what we're looking at.
Do you have a presentation? So I guess I'm confused. Is
What is
this
the cost of these?
Wait, hold on, back up a second. Let me ask a question. So is this something that we're going to purchase at our expense and place in certain locations in the park, or is this something that's going to be engraved? Money's going to be donated by a resident and engraved with someone's memory? Because I think those are 2 very different things.
I would certainly agree. This is not my policy.
Who?
You have been circulating policies for this, right?
Correct, but who asked you to add this to the agenda?
Chair.
So can you answer that question? Is this something that we are going to pay for and place at where we decide, the Parks and Rec Board decides throughout, that are going to be plain, composite, just for a place people to sit on? Or is this something that somebody's gonna have the ability to donate with a memorial?
The thought was both, but Dawn, do you have another picture as well? There was another photo that we did have that showed an engraving that could be possible for the bench. So these are just ideas that we're going to bring before we had an issue before the board, and the idea was to either have this as a vehicle that people that want to donate a bench to the park can determine. I believe it would be wise to continue to develop that policy that says the township has the authority to place that bench where it's needed or where they desire, and not give that control to the person that donates it. But those are two alternatives that.
But again, we don't have that policy written.
Very well. So
Let's
you're saying-
table, I'm gonna ask that this be tabled
Okay.
until we finish the policy, at which time we can decide. I agree that we need a few benches. I think that we should pay for them personally, but I think that before we ever even get to this point where we're picking out benches, we need to take 10 steps backwards and write something down.
Very well. So
That's just my-
any further discussion?
I think all the people moving into Cecil, we owe it to them to fix our parks up. Our parks are terrible. I have a list here, and everything is wrong with all the parks.
Very well.
Southview Park is absolutely terrible. Hill Station Park has junk cars with the roofs cut off, sitting there, and cars sitting all through the parking lot. Hendersonville has water running straight through the parking lot.
Right.
And so does Hills. I mean, and we gotta get handicapped porta-johns out there. Not just porta-johns, handicapped.
Let's stick to, and all your points are taken. We have a motion on the floor, but let's stick to the point that is just the benches in the park. So we have a motion on the table. Do we have an amended motion, or would you like to vote on this?
I would like to ask that this be, to make a motion that we table this.
We have an amended motion to table this. Do we have a second on the tabling?
I'll second
Second. We have to deal with the most recent item issued before the board, so it is the tabling. All those in favor of tabling signify by saying yes.
it. Yes.
Those opposed? No. So Carol, that was tabled. Allow the record to show 3-2. Very well, next item, number 198-2018. Consider the appointment of Diana Strumpel to the Parks and Recreation Board to replace Dan Williams. Do I have a motion first?
I make that motion.
And a second? And a second?
Can I ask a question before?
If we have a second, we can have discussion. If not, there will be no discussion.
Well, I need to have my question answered before I decide whether and how I'm gonna vote.
There has to be a second. We need a second.
Gretchen, do we have to have a second, or can we?
We have a
talk-
second from Tom. You're good. Please ask your question. I'm sorry.
I guess I'm confused as to how this even ended up on the agenda. I didn't see that we had any specific Parks Board positions open, and considering we're 1 month from reappointing people to Parks Board, it seems to me that we're better off handling this in January when we do our reorganization. Because I guess I don't even know where this came from.
Okay. Very well. I believe it was an email, right? Yes. An email that came from the Parks Board and they sent it to us?
She's currently an auxiliary member board who did donate her time 2 days at the Fall Festival. Was there bright and early when they were strapped for volunteers.
Very
I
well.
thought we just move her up from the auxiliary board onto the Parks and Rec board.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Mr. Igizia.
At this,
So that's fine. That makes sense, but that was never explained, so I didn't know why or how this happened.
okay. We had a comment interjected as well. Wendy, would you like to elaborate any further on you drawing attention to this?
Yeah, I just think that with obviously so much more attention being put to the parks and more people stepping up and saying this is what they would like to see and willing to donate their time, that there's more people who might be willing to serve in that position, and everybody should be looked at that's interested. You know, a lot of us have never even communicated with anybody in Parks and Recreation. They don't know us. So far, we haven't had any interaction, which I would like to see. But I just think that there just may be more people that may as well be is it equally qualified or in other ways more so? You know, I don't know this person, of course.
Very well. Very well. Are you complete?
We can take on additional auxiliary members to the Parks and Rec. If anybody would like to submit a letter of, that they'd like to participate, we're always looking for more volunteers.
He took the words.
As witnessed at this fall festival, with I believe the trails, the treats, I think was canceled because of lack of volunteerism. I've heard that's true, but we're always looking for more volunteers to help out in the township.
Yeah. Wendy, this is just, she's already on the auxiliary, so it's bumping her from auxiliary to a regular Parks and Rec. If you have any interest, I would definitely get those letters of interest over to Dawn. Like I said, we'll be doing reorganization in January, so those are the times where we can add. I don't think anybody's going to turn away a volunteer. I wouldn't.
Any other discussion on that? So the board, am I reading the pulse that you would like to appoint, and then possibly the next step, we have another vote to ask for auxiliary persons?
I would like to make a motion that we appoint Diana Strobel to the Parks and Rec Board to replace Dan Williams. But then I'd also like I think we need to open up.
So it's amended motion?
An amended motion. Well, no, it's the same thing that you guys already.
We have the motion to appoint Diana Strobel.
So you want to.
So the amended motion is to also request.
Hold on. Let's do this and then I'll tell you, because it's
Very
not
well.
an amended motion. So let's do this
Very well.
and then I'll add something. Go ahead.
No oppositions from the board or any other amended motions?
It's not an amended motion.
I'm asking if there are others that they may want to word something differently or add a different name, or so we're just talking about Diana Strobel being replacing Dan Williams. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 0. Carol, let the record show.
Okay, so